Good evening, sirs and madams, and welcome to the Sci-Fi CSI. I am Admiral Teag. Tonight we're investigating case number 0404 SNW, Strange New Worlds, Episode 4, Attack of the Clone Content, or The Case of the Missing Story. Sci-Fi CSI, Stardate 0813.26, Admiral Teag reporting. The skeletal remains were discovered at 3 a.m., dumped on Paramount Plus. The story was highly decayed, but DNA results confirmed it was supposed to be a Star Trek story. External exam, a black and white corpse. Cause, infrared star radiation stripping all color from the Matar system. More likely cause contributing lack of budgetary funding for Technicolor for the first time since The Cage. It was an incomplete set of remains, missing cause and effect, stakes, narrative relevance, and all coherence. It presented as pure noir cosplays with fedoras and trench coats. Casablanca shadows draped over a Klingon occupation. The manner of death, genre overdose. The autopsy found newly promoted Commander Una, Mabanga, and Uhura on a shuttle in to yank a stray Federation probe out of Klingon space. With the job done, the Klingon ship shows up. They have to ditch on Matar 12, a grayscale planet under full Klingon occupation. Una is instantly mistaken for Navit, a local crime boss, Klingon collaborator, and secretly stunning and brave resistance linchpin. Because in every universe, Rebecca Romijn Una is the most amazing and stunning person next to Mikey Spock. Real Navit's already as dead as this stupid story. Una inherits the Resistance ridiculous EMP plot to black out Klingon systems, which for some reason are not as hardened as mid-20th century United States military equipment was. Resistance contact self-deletes with the Borgia plant. Uhura gets grabbed and interrogated. In the final act of this terrible story, Una sets off the EMP device. The force fields drop. The orbiting D7 goes dark, losing 80% of its systems. The team grabs civilians, punches out, and color kind of returns. Enterprise sails on. Heavy noir cliches, toxic stupidity, morally gray, thin line B-plot, sci-fi tissue shows fresh Starfleet intervention. Released to archives to be sprinkled across the previously on of even worse episodes. Persons of interest, crime boss Roman, Klingon Commander Kang, who closely resembles Tuvix, and lastly, Alex Kurtzman and his gang of 20 producers. Justice delayed is justice denied, so sit back, pour yourself a drink, and enjoy this one from the case files of the Sci-Fi CSI. Good evening, sirs and madams. It's your buddy Admiral Teag, back from some technical glitches that had us on the Sci-Fi CSI scene. We had to get an infrared spectrometer so we could see all of the Klingon semen that was spread just all over the crime scene. This was one of the more disgustingly simplistic episodes ever. You just got my CSI Coroner's report. Well, I think we're getting the CSI style down. I kind of had fun making that one earlier today. I want to welcome everyone to our Coroner's Inquests. We will take questions from all of you, but Germ, no questions from the failing United Federation of Planets Times?
No, none at all. Not even invited.
They are fake. They are fake news. Have they reported removed? Yes. And UFP today, they showed a very favorable
It's just the
poll.
UF Post. The UF Post.
The UF Post, I like the UFP Post. Yes, UF Post is the best. We love the poorly educated. Hello, everybody, sirs and madams. We just went through, if they were to take the paddles of life and just slap them against your skull and jolt you, this would be similar to what I imagine happened during the episode of Star Trek that I watched today, if we could call it that. I've been to many crime scenes in my career, and I've been investigating Star Trek since 2018 when it became criminal.
He's seen things you wouldn't believe.
In 2009, when I saw my first sci-fi crime scene by J.J. Abrams, I've tracked several killers across time, and this week was maybe the laziest murder I've ever seen of a story by terrible and untalented story hack Alex Kurtzman and his gaggle of 21 producers. Sirs, this was the worst. JT, do you have, did you take some notes? You were lead investigator. JT was on call and arrived at the scene before some of the other CSIs. That's
Admiral,
why
sir,
he got to be in color.
I did indeed. There's, 3.5 pages of notes. It's one of the shorter note taking this week because there was just no substance.
All right, here we go. I know. Yeah, you probably were taking notes just to cope with the fact it was so boring. I found anything but it took 3 tries to get through this episode. Jerm, how many tries?
I only give it 1 try, no matter how badly it turns out.
You stick with it
My
no matter
man.
what. Wow.
Yeah.
That explains some of the anger. It doesn't explain how he's able to remember it better than I am, because I have to watch it 2 or 3 times, and it's out of my mind so quickly. It is the worst produced show I think I've ever seen. This week was especially well produced, and we have asked you, our beloved audience, this question. The question is, why was this in black and white? And of course,
The better question is, why the hell are we in black and white?
We couldn't afford the budget for color. You know what? Should we go color, Jerm? Should we go color, or should we wait for Sean?
Yeah, sure. Let's wait for Sean. See if he's inflicted with this colorless illness too.
I have a funny feeling that if we hear from Sean tonight, he's going to be pretty animated. He is not love it. He did not love this episode. None of us loved any.
He did not like
everybody.
This episode. You could say.
Yeah.
You
know what?
Say that.
We asked you guys why you thought the episode was in black and white. I wasn't trying to have a misspelling this week. I was kind of proud that I didn't, but there is. I did it again. So like I ask you, was it because it's the cheapest effect they had? Was it just like, it's a bold choice, Cotton. Let's see how it works out for him. And you don't know. Like to them, it was probably a huge win because I think it saved them a lot of money stylizing their Klingon. Anyone?
It may have helped them cover up that, but it really accentuated a few other flaws. They don't know how to light.
Yeah, it wasn't lit for black and white at all. It was terrible. And in fact, the lens flare after effects they put in there, they left in black and white, and it looked like ass. It just looked like ass.
It looked as bad as this picture. It looked as bad as P. Stew with fake hair. That's what this episode was. This was Patrick Stewart with a toupee. I mean, it wasn't working. It had nothing. It was Star Trek, but like just enough it changed to absolutely kill this episode. And we have some cardinal points to help guide us through this. And then JT will go in for a little more of a focus. We'll try to keep this one a little briefer. JT, you're going to have to prioritize these notes because this was a non-story that was painful. All right, so we start out, guys, shuttle mission, newly promoted. How did she get to be second in command of the Enterprise when she was a lieutenant command? She had the same rank as Worf until now? Pike is
that
really
doesn't make
responsible.
sense.
Yeah.
I think she was promoted like that one female captain in the New Zealand Navy that crashed and sank the ship in peacetime a couple years back.
That was a hilarious story. We covered that one. A lot of people thought that was us being unfair, but I was like, this is really like remarkably weird. I mean, we have to cover this one. All right. So guys, I'm sorry. And hey, look, Wes Cagel's here and his super chat is paid for some color in the stream. He gets to there you go, JT. Sir, sit, sir. We're in black and white. Sir, we're in black and white, but it's the best black and white ever. Yes, it is the best black and white ever. You know what? As Fran Drescher would say, and hello, Josiah. It's good to see Narc in the House of Clan. Narc, Josiah has been asking me about the Axonar show. So, you know what? Maybe we can get some sci-fi CSI info out of the way. It is not Paramount Skydance who wanted it out there to distract from Kurtzman Trek. It seems to be Kurtzman. Indications I'm finding are it's Kurtzman who has held them up. And so his ability to litigate on behalf of Star Trek is coming to an end. I don't think he has the right to make anything, but he can just keep announcing stuff and he can still bring action. He has standing for the moment, standing legally, because he has a valid Star Trek license. It's counting down. He can't make anything, and it's less of a license than it was last week, but it is almost over. So this episode 4 of season 4, was equivalent to an unplanned, low-effort drive-by shooting by crackheads. It's like they were on crack, they had the guns, they're in the car, they saw some people they didn't like, and they just impulsively started firing. That's about as much thought as this got. And that's about as chaotic.
You're giving it too much credit. Yeah. The Germ and I are in consensus on this, sir.
You're saying they would be doing heroin with the crack. It was so stupid. This was dumb, guys. This was dumb. Every single person, again, listen, let me explain where they're coming from on this one. And thank you, Wes Cagle, for the brief dose of color. It's Kurtzman who seems to be holding up the I have a great many things to say about Star Trek SPY.
Do you?
Is that accent art? Okay, there's more Trek than this shit. You know what? Honestly, the Muppet episode is yet to come. We can only hope it's a brief episode, but I have a feeling it'll be a whole episode and probably have the cast only voice acting. Maybe there'll be a rapper. If they're smart enough to do a wraparound where they watch a puppet show about themselves, it could probably escape total destruction.
You know it won't be.
It won't be. Well, I mean, I was going to save this for the end of the show, but maybe I'll save it for the end of the show. But Nerdrotic said a few things that had my brain spinning today about Star Trek Las Vegas. It was difficult. It's good to see everybody. Let me just say hello really quick to everybody who showed up for our Star Trek show. I see Mark Harkness. Hello. Resolute is here. Planet X87. Hello to you. The Trek Reviewer is here. Buddy Hepburn, Josiah Clinch, Gunner, JT Kirk, the Gavin unit, my friend Blackie, and Wes Cagle, all here. It's good to see all of you. I love you all.
Indeed.
I heart Wes Cagle's super chat. I think Wes Cagle deserves more than 3 likes on that chat. Let's get that going. That is audience participation. Take the poll. Let us know what you think. This was dumb tonight. So I am going to give the orientation, and then JT will take it a little finer. JT, prioritize bullet points. Here we go. Shuttle mission newly promoted Una takes Mabanga and Uhura to retrieve a stray Federation probe that's drifted into Klingon space. We don't have self-destructs in the future for these things.
No, of course not. Of course not. No geofencing. Hit these coordinates, go boom. Go off course. Go boom.
It rhymes with, but it is not the Mukhtari Nebula from Galileo 7. It's like
it's almost the Mutara Nebula, but it's Mutara.
It's very close. They spell it
the
just
guitar
a little differently.
Nebula, for all we know.
The very out of tune guitar Nebula.
Yeah.
Let me tell you, I did not like this episode. So, there's a forced landing pretty quick. A Klingon ship appears, and they have to hide on Matar 12, a fully occupied planet where stellar radiation makes everything black and white, which is weird to say it now because things have been black and white for a long time. But I guess they're especially black and white on the planet. They keep mentioning, as though this is TV for the visually impaired, that so everything's in black and white. Gee, I really can't get used to stuff being in black and white. Wow, I can't believe everything's in black and white. And I don't know, this is so far into the future. JT, don't you think after a while you would just feel intellectually forced to say guys, let's just call it monochrome. It's taking it's a really long word, set of terms. Black and white's a term, monochrome. We can just
you have to remember that it's failed English majors that are writing these scripts, so they don't know the term monochrome. They just know black and white.
Why would they call it black and white in 200 years? Why?
Because they're stupid and they think you're stupid too.
These people don't know the term monochrome, and they can't. Spelling it would be too much for them, even if you told them what it was.
Yeah, Germ's got it exactly right.
Well, guys, sit back and enjoy yourselves a beverage while we do the work for you on this weird one. Okay. Mistaken identity. Everybody has an exact replica, like replicant duplicate on this fucking planet. All of them, right? Everyone has an exact duplicate replicant. This is the part I love, though. Everybody's replicant duplicate of the people on the shuttle just happens not to be around, but they run together in this alternate universe where the stunning and brave head of everything, she's the smartest of the Klingons, she's the smartest of the people on the planet, she's the head of the resistance, she's jerking the Klingons around, and she's running her own action on the side, is, of course, it's Una. Una's doppelganger is like the Benjamin Sisko. This is heavily influenced by the Deep Space Nine Mirror Universe episodes, if you ask me, guys. And
You're giving it too much credit again. It's clear that they've never watched any Star Trek, Admiral.
I think that maybe they might have read a stub of a Wikipedia entry or asked their AI. Remember, the AI that helped write this episode did sort of see Star Trek.
Possibly. And there are some points that I have in my notes where I'm going to prove to the audience that whoever wrote this and produced it has never watched Star Trek. It doesn't care.
They really didn't care. This was one of the more sloppily written episodes we've seen. I mean, I agree with that.
And there's Mark Harkness making some sense. Welcome. Hello. Good evening.
Hey, Mark. What is he saying here? The planet is in Klingon space. Why is this planet not scorched? Kor should have crushed these clans. Yeah, I was wrong. It's not Kang. It's Kor. And it looked like they rehired the Tuvix actor, but it wasn't him, was it? I checked. It didn't seem to be him. And in fact, that guy was just at Star Trek Las Vegas. Tuvix was there.
No, we know Tuvix. I know.
This guy looked like the ass baby.
I don't know, but I never forget a face. We've seen this guy somewhere else.
He looked like the ass baby of Nagilum and Tuvix. Kind of like his eyes were a little too far apart, like Nagilum's.
It was a Klingon relative of Rachel Ziegler. There's no other way.
This is the only crawl I could think of for this whole episode. I could leave this on the entire time. This was one of the dumbest things they've ever tried to do. So they're amazing us with their depth and their visual effect. And now it's starting to become really clear. They're expecting you to be doing something else and watching on your phone. There's not a lot of effort. The real Navit is now mistaken identity. Una is instantly taken for Navit, a powerful and stunning and brave local who's both Klingon collaborator, resistance leader, and she plays along to stay alive. She seemingly has like magical osmosis ability to read the minds of those who are speaking to her. Perhaps that's one of those enhancements that she doesn't talk about anymore that were edited out of the episode Ghosts of Illyria, season 1, episode 3. When she used to punch down walls and carry dudes over her shoulder and walk full stride before she was never enhanced in the first place, and now she kind of has enhancements, right? It's weird.
Not the kind of enhancements the audience is interested in, but sure.
I think the one thing the audience would be interested in is that she get like maybe a treadmill and a Stairmaster.
Ouch.
There seems to be
Ouch.
And this was a different Rebecca Romaine than we saw 2 episodes back too. This proves that it's wildly inconsistently filmed across the course of a year. She was thinner. She wasn't thin, but she was thin-ish.
You know, part of the problem with that too is they still can't get the wardrobe right, but they either shoot in like above 4K or some kind of a very high definition camera, and to edit out all of their mistakes and microphone booms and all the rest.
You could
of the
see the
set
production
that's
crew
up
on the wall here and there. You could see people standing with the. See, here's the thing though, JT. I believe that I was hoping Sean would be here too because he was feeling strongly about this. Sean concurred in our chat, but Germ, JT, I ask you guys, is it me or was this filmed a lot of it on a selfie stick? with
It
like
almost
a
looks that
smartphone.
way.
Well,
And
that's why I think it was in black and white. We've already done unapologetically one entire video with a selfie stick and a iPhone with
you
that
might be
Starfleet
getting that,
military
Admiral,
parade
though.
thing.
I think you're getting that look because they've cropped and zoomed so many of their mistakes out that they're back to their season 3 ways, where they chop off the top 4 inches of someone's forehead and then you don't even see their neck. They're so zoomed in on someone's face. And how can you make Rebecca Romaine look good when you've done that? You can't. Everybody looks bad that close up.
This episode, more than anything, invoked Orwell, and not in a good way. It invoked the part of 1984 where they go and get the copy of like The Warmth of Collectivism by like Gold Danny or whatever the bad guy's name is, but Goldfinger or whatever, and the servant of what is the name of the guy who woos him? Donovan, is that it? The servant of the character, that character, the central like spy who's like kind of like compromising Winston Smith. His spy had his servant had a synthetic face, and Winston Smith is like fascinated by it, and he keeps looking over at it while he's being spoken to. And he goes like, the expression on the servant was very unsettling to Smith. And he wondered, perhaps it was impossible to smile with a synthetic face. And it just said like the manservant had a synthetic face, and it left it unexplained after that. And then like much later on, like 2 pages later, it's like, he found the manservant especially unnerving. Perhaps it was because it might have been impossible to smile. He wondered if it was possible to have any expressions with a synthetic face. Something very close to that. And as Rebecca Romaine is I'm noticing now, is so damn stoic. Did she go after her face so much that it just doesn't move no more? Is that what was going on?
No,
is that why she seemed?
She just doesn't care. They may have told her to look tough or grim, and she just stood there.
And it may have even looked better in the way they originally shot it, but again, you pan and zoom so much that these people are way too close to the camera, and it just looks bad. It just looks out of place. The way all of this is shot, folks, if you were viewing this like a ghost, you'd be about 2 feet from everybody in every single shot the whole time.
You know what, JT? This is the best way to put it. No one would stand this close to another person, and so TV is never filmed that way.
Correct.
This has
100%.
boundary limits. This has boundary limitation situation here. This does not understand boundaries. Like, this thing is just like, can you back off just a little? Like, you didn't do the best job brushing your teeth.
It's rush hour Subway close.
Like, all those cigarettes and those 4 cups of coffee, could you please just not stand so close? Could you talk in a different direction? Like, this episode is uncomfortably fucking close. The supermodel with bad breath incarnate in this episode. It's too close, and it looks like shit. And it was like they're trying to hide their really terrible mistakes. Guys, I don't know what to tell you about this one. This was one of the worst ones ever. If you could spam some emojis and keep the chat going, that would really help me out, because like quality engagement, it's very helpful. As we move along in the plot, the real Naveet, this one's too cute by half. So they have to be edgelords. Everything has to be so edgy. So the real Naveet, well, guys, I got news for you. She's already dead. The real Naveet was killed weeks earlier by her own people, which leads me to wonder, like, why does no one know about this if it was a conspiracy to take her out? Thank you.
Yet no one looked in the spot they found her. Like, our intrepid crew found her immediately, but no one else looked. Really? It was stupid. It was just so stupid. The Klingons didn't care, didn't notice she was gone. Supposed to be super important. But no. And it was an attempt at body horror again. Because
it really
Kurtzman
was. We had a
can't
couple
do
of
it.
attempts at it.
Yeah.
We keep going back to things that we just cannot pull off on this show. All right, so the real Naveed is already dead. The Resistance inheritance. Una takes over the half-baked, unfinished EMP plan to cripple the Klingon security systems and free civilians. Left out of this is somehow, why aren't their systems as hardened as American military systems from the Vietnam era? Hardwired insulated stuff, shielding existed in the 1960s. We don't have it 300 years from now.
That's
EMP.
because the people that wrote this barely know how to plug in a lamp.
What would have been better is if the planet they went to was a little less developed and wasn't on the same level as them. As you can see from the background we have, this is the 1/2 second of 1 second, and you can see how poorly rendered it is. A lot of it looks very stickish. It looks like they probably scraped it off other disaster movies. I think I'm seeing the two scenes from ID4 are just like mashed together. I guess Paramount owns that one too. I'm pretty sure. Just these are two Paramount disaster movie settings, just like squished together with like a city setting from Metropolis, because Metropolis. I think the AI was only used in a smoothing. I think that it is absolutely just Metropolis fed into the AI, and then other stuff from a couple of Paramount disaster movies and a Paramount future movies layered in on top of it. It is so low res and so low detail. And even then, it had to be backlit, black and white, low res, and very brief. We could only see this for a couple of seconds. It looks so effing bad.
And folks,
fucking horrible.
You probably can't see it on screen, but they're using trains. Hey. It's like a steampunk city, like a weird Metropolis, Gotham steampunk with blimps, dirigibles floating around.
Now, not everybody's upset about that.
Sir, steam is better.
Sir, honestly, the dogs are better.
Sir, I have the man. Sir, my name is Raisin. $1 billion, sir. $1.1 billion, sir.
Sir, he has a cold. Don't shake his head.
Sir.
That's for you, West.
Yeah, that one's for all of you. I owe Voyager an apology. Bride of Chaotica was far superior black and white production.
Yes, it was.
Bride of Chaotica is actually kind of outright enjoyable. That was when Voyager started realizing that we can be, if we lean into our accidental strength of being ridiculous, we can be kind of good sometimes. Sure.
But I think that Voyager episode, they knew they were going to do it in black and white. I am not convinced, and I don't think you could convince me, that they planned to originally shoot this in black and white. And that it was all set in post. That's the key difference. Because
they saw how bad the city looked, and they said, we can cover this up by shifting it to monochrome.
Do you think that they bought the effects and they're like, okay, this has to be in black and white. It looks like shit. And they're like, get some costumes from guys and dolls, and just dress up the cast. These were from a gay dinner theater production of Guys and Dolls. We're talking I was expecting the one thing they pull a Schindler's List and have a hot pink fedora be the only color on the planet.
Yeah. It is clear that the black and white was to cover up some production shortcomings, especially on the planet.
There's also,
but in that case, it would have been smarter if they just said the Klingon shield drained out all the color, so they didn't. It's have
uniform
to apply
throughout
the
the episode.
The Enterprise, yeah, and it looks halfway passable on the planet. It's really outstandingly bad when they shift to the Enterprise.
It reminded me of when
they had an easy out to keep the Enterprise in color. They should have taken it.
You know what? I agree with you on that one. It reminded me of when I first saw The Cage on regular syndicated TV as a kid. I think the deal is CBS made The Cage. NBC orders Star Trek. NBC is the ones who have a time slot for Star Trek. Back then, things were different. The production company was Lucille Ball owned a chunk of CBS, and she had her own production company. She sold she sold out of CBS and she sold their production company, and the shows just got bought. So Star Trek was in the pipeline. So it was made for CBS, but it ends up on NBC. I don't think the color was the same. For a long time, you had to buy a specific TV that had the color of the network you had. Two were the same, one was different. So CBS and NBC, I know, were different. I think NBC and ABC were the ones that were the same, but NBC and CBS definitely different. That's why the cage, even when they had it in color originally, some of it, that color looked weird and different and like affected. And it had to be totally rebuilt when they made the special editions. That one, I think, was fully colorized and made uniform in the last couple of years. All right. So, hey, John the Beagle Dad, happy birthday to our friend John the Beagle Dad. Everyone, if you can, wish John a happy birthday in the chat. HBDJBT.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, John the Beagle Dad. Sir, a very
Now,
youthful
Admiral,
39.
When we drill into this later, I can actually prove to you that the enhanced job interview scenes between Core and Uhura, they went back and reshot those later. And that's why they were out of sequence and they don't make any sense. But anyway, when we get into the details, we could talk about it.
We had a lot of scenes. If two people aren't in frame at the same time, it should be assumed that they were not both there at the same time. If someone is looking over there, like the camera's looking in over someone's shoulder, it's not them. Mm-hmm. They got too cute. They did too much with their double. Did you notice a couple of times it wasn't even Rebecca Romaine when she turned her head and was like, and La'an, same thing. It wasn't even her. Like she was kept turning her head and to listen.
I'm not
and
looking
like,
at her like that. I'm not looking at her like that.
La'an is still pretty cute.
Sure.
But yeah, I mean, they doubled people to the ridiculous extent. I think the only people that were together were Mabanga and Rebecca Romaine. This is the only show that only runs off 2020 TV protocol still. This is the only show that's still doing it. It's like, well, you know, we just want to be safe. You never know. Something could happen in the future. It's like, it's too late. We're all already sick from watching the show. Okay, so the resistance is fruitful. They give Una this undercooked, underthought electromagnetic pulse device to cripple the Klingon security system and free the civilians. I want to say someone with some talent could have convinced them, and we do have signs of life on the planet. We'll see. We're getting the coordinates. They're feeding into the main computer now. But one of the things that I thought was perhaps most ridiculous in this mess was we had the kernel of a good idea here where we know that EMP is dangerous and the transporter is turning itself on, trying to shut it down. We may be encountering Q-like beings. I don't know. They're telling me the transporter could turn itself on at any moment. All right, so
okay. Looks like we have somebody try to realign their pattern buffers here, Admiral.
We had some strange tech issues too, but it turned out not to be the ones we thought they were. So
it was still the problems
we didn't have, we had
StreamYards.
But it was still StreamYards. But once we solved the problems we didn't have, and then solve the problems we did have, this is probably the best sounding show you've heard all day. So at any rate, it's about the dumbest TV show, but it's our job to review. We don't write we write this show. We don't write there.
It's okay. They barely wrote their own.
This was the one they wrote the most of though, because I do not believe they used the AI that much. This one,
well,
they forgot a lot of stuff and they didn't remember to go back to a lot of things, as you see how blind Admiral Teag is. If they had managed to twist the EMP just a little more, maybe they could have gotten something out of this. Like, sir, it's EPS pulse. It's, like old EMP. That would have worked.
They couldn't even write their Act 4. Their bright idea was to do what they did, and it made no sense at all. It was the stupidest thing. They built up to an Act 4 that
it was like three
basically
lines.
did nothing. Yeah.
We spoke like 3 lines, and what was on, and Sean Carter has arrived.
Hey, fellas.
Appropriately as a Packlet. Yeah, I feel drained. Like, if they aren't going to pay for color, neither are we.
Oh, God.
What do you think? I asked the audience. I want to ask you. Go ahead and tell us how you feel first, though. You seem to have something to say. Go for it.
No, I'm just recovering from my day and that fucking episode. It was all stupid. Although I will say this, the poll needed another option of it's just stupid and who knows what they were doing. Another gimmick. Another gimmick.
This may have been pure gimmickry. We don't know. Like, they're crazy enough to try something that stupid. They really just are. Like, we also seem to have gotten to a point now where we do not like Star Trek without singing and dancing anymore. Alex Kurtzman just loves his singing, dancing Star Trek. He can't get anywhere without some singing and dancing. So we've gone over the plot points so far of that shuttle mission with newly promoted Una, the forced landing, the mistaken identity where everyone's already been killed by insiders. So everybody should know about this. It was an inside job, but somehow no one's come back from this hit weeks earlier. The resistance inheritance of stupidity where she gets the EMP device. And I was just saying, like, couldn't they have put enough brain power into this for it to have been an EPS device? Because with it being EMP, that means that the Klingons have less sophisticated tech than, our dads were using during the Vietnam War.
Well, I mean, they couldn't even shoot down those fucking Zeppelins that are floating around.
Yeah.
So,
what happened?
You're
The
still
drummer
giving them
got
too much
drunk
credit.
and the Zeppelin
You're giving
just
these
was
writers
unstoppable.
too much credit. That they're not trying to make Star Trek. They've never seen Star Trek.
None of it.
This was somebody's film class book fell off the shelf. There was like a slight earthquake in California. It fell open to Metropolis. Like, we could fake this and people would think we were deep.
None of this made any sense.
Well, Sean, there's a whole scene in here. We haven't talked about it yet. There's a whole scene where they tried to do a dance number between the Klingons and the other ones.
We had a rap battle.
And they had to cut it.
Rap battle.
They had to cut it. They started to do one, and then they just all started pounding in the same rhythm on a table, and then the scene ended.
Did they
do
start going into West Side Story? Like,
yeah, they were going to do that, and it didn't work. Anyway,
not only did I think what happened was they filmed it and they screwed up the sound or something. That had the look of a last minute fix. It was really bad.
Yeah, like
Although
they tried to do
it
it in post somehow.
A lot of it was a 1-for-1 from Casablanca, just done terribly.
Especially when they were singing started singing over them. I'm like, oh my god, fuck you.
That was the only time I've ever rooted for the Yahtzees in any movie, except maybe like when there were zombies or something like that in the horror movie. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and now we have Kor, who's a direct descendant from Kahless.
I checked. It's not the Tuvix actor, but I was pretty sure.
Kahless, by the way.
It's Kalish now.
No, it's not that either.
It's K-Lisp, okay? It's all gay. It's all dumb. It's gay. It's not K-Lisp. It's gay lisp. Hello. It's good to see you, sir. It's the recently remonetized Stark of Iron. Congratulations, sir. I'm glad you got it done before they raised it to 800 million hours for monetization and 6 billion subs. If you get, you know what's great is only people from a certain geographic location are going to be able to be YouTubers because they have like all the fake stuff to do it. That and people just drawing.
So, Admiral, I guess to end out this high level, they somehow set off the EMP, which makes the Klingons leave, and then nothing. The probe is just not a story anymore, and that's the end of the episode.
The only forgivable part about the probe not being a story was it was a cheap ploy just to start the story. So what would have been even better and made more sense is they destroy the probe, and then they have a problem. Like but that would have been too much action. That would have been too much action.
At some point,
onto their dumb shuttle or something.
They get it to the Enterprise, but they can't get themselves to the Enterprise.
Yeah, they reprogram it and send it back or beam it back or whatever the fuck they do. This was torture to watch, guys. Sirs and madams, this was one of the most difficult experiences of my life watching this one. But the news is we're about halfway through. Yeah, I mean, this was heartbreaking. And then
did you guys talk about
today?
Did you guys talk about the murderer is whispering even more than usual in this?
We haven't even started the
murderer
the
talking
breakdown
as
yet,
a parent
Sean.
was rich. when he was talking about how he first he talks as a parent and then he talks about the transporter next. I'm like, ooh, that was an unfortunate side-by-side coincidence. Are you like doubling down to prove that it wasn't wrong what you did seasons 1 and 2, that you had to wish away in the stupidest way possible to just undo it? Like, I wouldn't remind people that my murderer
They
stored his
don't
kid.
even remember.
Yeah,
Me
Yeah,
neither.
they
don't
might
remember.
not. Guys, for those of us who watch this show, we know that my murderer stored someone, a smallish person, inside of the pattern buffer for, I don't know, a couple of years, just so they could feel pain. And he was like cognitively dissonant. Whenever this smallish individual would come out, they'd be like, you know, Daddy, sir, damn you, Daddy, sir, can I please be allowed to expire so I don't have to live in pain? I feel time pass. I feel pain. I am stuck in there, just drifting around, staring into nothingness the whole time. And he's like, now we have to stop playing and I put you back in the transporter. And it's like, wow, did you not just listen to your own show's dialogue? So they should not bring up parenting, the murderer, and the transporter, but they did. Okay, rising complications, the resistance contact self-deletes with sci-fi cyanide during investigation. Extra points if anybody knows what she used and where we've recently seen it. What was her last resort pill made from? And did they rewrite that later? Because we see her break her tooth like they do in spy movies.
I
and
have a
she
grand
foams
theory
and
about
dies.
this, by the way. I have a whole grand theory about this whole episode, which we'll talk about in our review, our scores at the end,
Okay.
which will
here's
explain most of this.
the resistance contact self-deletes with a sci-fi cyanide, and it was alkaloid poisoning from the Borgia plant.
Oh, right. Yeah, the Borgia plant.
Continuing my assertion that they do watch Star Trek, but only the first episodes of any
another
season.
reference to the salt monster.
They only watch first episodes and pilots. They like
Yep.
if Trek 09 is heavily based on the first Tusk cartoon, the first episode and the first 10 minutes. In fact, like he doesn't admit that, but he basically talks about how he made that Star Trek episode, that Star Trek cartoon episode into the first half of the movie, and that he had to throw out an entire Goonies-like Star Trek movie that he made. He made 2 movies. And that it's been so bad that I'm saying now, maybe the Goonies movie would have been better to lead the whole thing off a cliff right away. But I mean, we're not turning any sort of corner here. So the resistance spy who has escaped to inform them. Now the Klingons have this planet fully occupied, but we find out in conversation you don't need to carry ID on this cruel, repressive planet. You don't need to carry ID. I would point out in this place called the United States of America, there is a city called New York. In the city of New York, crimes against the fandom are handled by the Sci-Fi CSI, but also it's illegal in what is considered widely the second most liberal city in this entire country, maybe third behind St. Paul and San Francisco, but maybe the second or third most liberal city in this country. You can't leave your home without ID, but the Klingons are fucking cool with that. They're only going to crack down on that now.
Yeah,
this is a brutal occupation.
They don't know how to
you don't
write
need
anything
ID.
that's not on Blue Sky. Yeah,
this is a brutal occupation. You don't need ID. You can drink all you want. And you don't need ID, by the way. So it's like twice as free as our society. It's like walk up and buy it if you got money. It's like, what's their weapons policy? It's like, everybody is wearing gay guys and dolls dinner theater from Canada musical dinner theater outfits. Everyone's costume is gay musical dinner theater from Canada, and that's one of the things that I kind of forgot. I have to show you guys how stupid this was for you to really believe it. We'll use the slides, but first I'll kind of let the slideshow play so you can see some of these images. Here's our aforementioned shuttle crash. I want to thank myself for being the crime scene photographer today. It was brutal. I saw some terrible stuff. Some of the worst stuff I've cut out so you don't have to see it. They abused us again with the light from behind. There you have our desktop. That they see their city for one fraction of 1/10 of a second. There's their extra gay BDSM Section 31 with Carmen Sandiego fedoras. There's Roman, the crime boss. I don't know who this guy is. He sucked. There's Spock and Lon. They had no idea what they were trying to do or what episode this was going in. They was just like, this is a B plot. Do it. This is the spy who self-deletes. This is what Rebecca Romaine calls acting. I believe she's had so much plastic surgery she cannot move her face. This is not Nagilum, nor is this Tubix. This is actually Core. He couldn't be gayer. Here's our bartender. I don't think women are in any danger near him either. Here is hetero-abnormative Scotty and hetero-abnormative Ortegas, who would just start fucking by now if they were normal fucking characters. There's the way this is what we want for this story. Okay, this is how this story really is. And there's the Razor Crest. Okay, we're gonna talk about that when we get to it. But that's this week's Sci-Fi CSI crime scene photos. I'll just let this catch up to where we are as we catch you guys. We've caught you guys up on the plot by showing you this. The EMP plan is stupid. They couldn't do enough thinking to make it the EPS plan. They'll blind their system, sir. That's all they needed. It would have been fine. And this is where I'm going to ask Sean. Sean, do you think that Rebecca Romaine, the remains of Romaine, first of all, do you think she's the kind of lettuce that gives anything but the Star Trek show explosive diarrhea? Did this episode not have the stoma parasite or whatever it is that's on lettuce?
I think they found her in various Taco Bell restaurants.
Eating the central Mexican lettuce with both hands. Yeah, this was terrible. She was terrible in this. Do you think she's had so much plastic surgery she can't move her face?
I don't think she's quite at the Pelosi stage yet, but she's getting there.
She's at the Hillary stage then.
Am I crazy when I say that I remember her in X-Men being an okay, not fantastic, but okay actress? The fact she was naked when she was 29 helped. That was a good thing to behold.
She had a cool costume to distract everyone with.
Sean, is this not now the most frightening? If you're dating Rebecca Romaine, right? The Rebecca Romaine from 1989, 1995 to 1997, like that, like prime Rebecca Romaine, swimsuit model Rebecca Romaine. And you go to her, and she's like, oh, we got to stop by my mom's place. I got to drop something off. And you see current Rebecca Romaine come out there. You're like, that's like young Christy Alley, old Christy Alley. You're like, this is not going to be a lifetime commitment. Especially when you see her dad, it's yeah, we have to drop off the husband support check for my father. And you go over there and he's got a black eye. She's like, she beat me up when I asked for my money again. He's like, it's okay, Dad. Don't worry about it. Just don't talk politics to her anymore. And he's like, I hate myself. And it's like, yeah, all women.
I'd like to think that Sean would be so nice to her that she would age even more gracefully and wouldn't need to do any work.
This didn't have to happen. We're talking about one of the most genetically gifted people in the world. And welcome to Admiral Teag's intolerant intolerant YouTube stream, where we'll actually talk about what they show us, the actors. Oh my God. So we didn't get male nudity, but we got some of the most beat up looking female cast. If they were good looking, they worked hard to make them look uglier. La'an is good looking, so they give her white boy cornrows and they film her like shit. And she wears a minimizer bra. It was ridiculous. It was ridiculous.
Did we ever get an explanation why the scenes on the Enterprise were in black and white?
So yeah, we did. And if we want to start down notes,
why don't they have shields?
Sean, we could start down
that out.
Some of this stuff. So they get a black and white episode and they explain it away, and it's on their screen that says they're getting infrared black body spectra radiation.
So now, you know what they did here? They ripped off an episode of Star Trek Continues, which did it much better. They beamed down to a
very early one
that had monochrome. No, it was a little later. It's like in the mid, but that's the one that John Delancey's in. And they beamed down to a planet that has whatever the atmosphere is they see in black and white. And it had an absolute tie to why that story was what it was, and it was done really well. They just ripped it off. They stole from Vic
isn't as
Mignogna.
terrible as what. You know what?
This-
Fuck them for doing that. But they steal all the time. We've seen it. It doesn't have to be said. We saw the tardigrade lawsuit.
Now, Sean,
Why
I
is
did want to point out.
why is radiation getting into the ship? Don't
Well,
they
yeah,
shield?
that was
Yeah,
if
I'm
one of the
captain,
things.
I turn my shields on before I go into the fucking radiation.
So, Sean, infrared is closer to red light on radiation spectrum. It's almost visible by us, but it's on the red side. Ultraviolet's more on the purple side. There is no, I don't know what black body spectra is, but it cannot be infrared radiation. There's no near infrared
sounding terms.
anything that you could do.
Well, whatever
would
they
do
want to
this.
call it. I mean, Voyager was guilty of that too, but it's still so fucking stupid.
Two, why,
was stupider
why
than
in
any
the
episode of
hell is
Voyager ever got.
radiation getting through on anything? They have the hull that's an anti-radiation hull. They have navigational deflectors. They have basic shielding. They put the blast shield down in the shuttle on all the windows.
When they say shields on the shuttle now, hangar doors just come down over their glass windows because that's what we've done to
Like,
Star Trek.
like
now.
Battlestar Galactica.
Yeah,
Yes,
so
yes.
there
They
should
had
be
the
no
garage door
way
just
any
come down.
type of infrared radiation would ever get to them. Like the space shuttle blocks infrared radiation. Sunglasses block
you think-
infrared. Like,
do you
what
think-
the fuck are we doing?
I just want to ask Sean a quick question. Do you think that like Adama on the bridge of the Galactica when they had the Cylons coming in, he was like had to put down the shields. He would be like, introduce LA riots protocol. Shopkeeper. put the ship in shopkeeper mode, bodega mode.
Activate roof Koreans.
Did you guys notice that the intro previously on was like 45 seconds long, and they somehow make each one of these previously
Felt
on more unhinged and not in tangential and out of context than the
This
one that
I
they did the week
understood
before?
This one made no sense, but I understood what they did with it. They took every single special effect and edgy moment they had and threw them together and tried to make it look like you've missed an awesome show. That's what that was the only purpose of this best of. Look, nothing happened in this episode that we needed to be caught up on.
Right.
Nothing.
Right.
And even
but
though
they need
I
it for
could
the
say
runtime.
that if they need it for the runtime and they needed it, they used it as a self ad. In my opinion,
The only thing
for the show.
The only thing that was relevant that Una got promoted. That was it. They didn't even have to.
They didn't even have to
that's
mention
true.
that. They didn't
That
even
was
have
last
to
week,
mention
though.
it.
We celebrated that.
Yeah,
for
I
like
think
half of last
Pike
week.
does something. They show a clip of Pike saying like, "Congratulations, Commander Una, whatever your."
Yeah, he
name
says,
is."
"I don't want promotion, but I know someone who might."
Yeah, they do. They just skim over that, but they only needed 5 seconds to do that. And it took 45,
So-
like you said.
Sean, in the picture of the screen where they're talking about the Angelo probe, I don't know why they called it Angelo, but whatever.
Maybe it was a
there-
reference to
Because it didn't
Angelo,
work.
What is
Because
what
it
is
the
didn't
guy from
work. It had
Countrywide.
to have a male name. If it
What-
was called the Curie, it would have been the most successful probe ever and rescued itself.
I could go someplace with that, but I don't want to get your channel canceled, so I'll leave that one alone.
Okay, we'll leave it
Sean,
alone, but
what-
we know that sentiment is right for how they think. These people
Admiral
are
Sean
nuts.
Germ, what is between buffering Klingon space and Federation space?
A small
border.
neutral zone.
A zone, a neutral zone, a zone that's neutral, right?
I think they once called it a
Not in here.
demilitarized zone really early on, but it's a neutral zone. Yeah.
Doesn't exist in this picture. Doesn't exist in this episode. Proof they do not watch Star Trek.
Wait,
Any of it.
I can forgive that though because the hostilities with the Klingons haven't happened yet.
They've been in and out of war plenty of times with the Klingons.
I thought the major dust up is going to happen between this and the time of Kirk's command, right? Because in the original timeline, we have Pike's era, then there's a war in the interim, and then we have the Kirk era.
They have a neutral zone.
I don't
in
think they're at
Disgracery.
war for
They have a
That's
neutral zone in
true.
Discovery, and now they don't. Like I said, they don't even watch
You know
their own
what?
shit.
The probe could always have gone into undisputed Klingon space. We don't know. Who knows? Or space that no one's bothered to litigate. Like, do they know about this planet being a Klingon planet? It's like this
They
episode
knew.
had a then this happened sort of quality to it. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if they rolled that out. And by the way, my murderer makes several determinations without ever even whipping out a salt shaker and waving it around. So like they couldn't afford the sound effect. He just looks at someone and goes, "Dead? Yes, they are."
Well, okay,
He's the
so
first actor in this week's episode.
they're going to
and
go pick
everyone's
up
this week.
they're going to go pick up this probe, but they don't want to get caught. So instead of sending the Enterprise, they send a shuttle. The shuttle isn't like some magic stealth ship. The Galileo 7 is not a stealth bird. I don't know why they sent this and just not the fucking Enterprise. Okay?
Yeah, at this point, you need
Makes
to
no
say
sense.
at the point where you come across the major enemy capital ship, you make a call back to your people. Everyone on the planet's been suffering in a good long time. Another couple hours ain't gonna really change much.
Exactly.
You know, the Klingons are running wild. And also, there's a little something that is supposed to be in place because they corrected their timeline. They have a total prime directive and they pretend that they follow it and stuff like that. They didn't even talk about how this was prime directive shit. They're like, this isn't our planet. These people failed to protect themselves. They got occupied by the Klingons. The Klingons have as much right to this planet as we have to, I don't know, Archer's planet or whatever, some weird outlying planet that we have, where we shouldn't have it. There used to be
people,
natives on Rigel 13 before we wiped them out by
Admiral,
mistake. Anything.
The problem is the writers don't really have any real ethics or morals that they have to actually have ever had to sacrifice anything for in their life and live
They
by.
don't understand morals
So
or ethics.
Their whole thing is they're going to call a prime directive whatever, but the ends justify the means in every single one of their episodes. So they don't know how to write restrictions of the prime directive.
People.
This is why they can't write anything philosophical, because there's no restrictions or morals on anything. And so that's why the ends just justify the means. That's why they're just going to go into Klingon space and interact with these people and do whatever, because it doesn't matter. They don't have any rules. They have no experience doing that. So you could try to think about all this all you want. Just think these people have no scruples. They just will write whatever they feel like. Yes. Yes, indeed.
I'm muted because I had to
indeed.
be.
I saw
by
that.
the way, this is Roman, the crime boss. He got this job because a lot of people don't know this, but Alexander Siddig's father fucked around a lot, and this is Julian Bashir's. This is actually Alexander Siddig's bastard half cousin, and they gave him some work to keep him off the street.
Oh, really?
shit.
It is?
Really?
No. But I thought that would be a fun story. I thought we should have some kind. He's a lot older, but I thought we deserve some sort of Star Trek story, so I figured I'd make one up and throw it in there just real quick. So there we go.
Here's another thing, Admiral. They say like 4.5 minutes in, we have nowhere to safely hide when they have to land the shuttle. So let's
use these gay costumes that we happen to have on board and dress like.
Isn't it lucky that it was nighttime the entire constantly on this planet?
They flew right to the big fucking city and parked in the parking lot.
In their Federation crap.
You didn't even try.
Couldn't they at least go to Golden Gate Park?
If a Russian MiG landed at LaGuardia, there would be questions. You know what I'm saying?
But if you land it in Maine, it's going to take a little while for anyone to find you. But no, you landed in LaGuardia, right?
They landed it at LaGuardia. They landed it right in the middle of Queens, like next to Citi Field. They're like, we'll declare your business. We're here to meet the Mets, sir. Mr. Met, long-time agent for our country, Mr. Met. We know your secret, Mr. Met. Mr. Met, by the way, would have been a better fucking alien than anything we saw. Just go to a planet where everyone is a Major League Baseball mascot. That would be better than the puppet episode. Sean, I would do a whole planet of Philly Fanatics. What happens there? How do they survive? How do they procreate?
How do they win
I want to know.
at anything?
What's a female fanatic look like?
How do they win? It's just one string of planetary disasters after another.
I need to call this out to Mark Harkness. Actually, last week they did forget where they parked.
Yeah.
They literally did.
They did. Dude, where's my shuttlecraft?
So right here, this scene that you have this scene here that you have this still of, we have Dr. Bashir here grilling number one, who happens to be a doppelganger, just a perfect doppelganger on a planet with an alien
This is
species.
what I meant by she has information by osmosis.
Exactly like them.
He's asking her semi-specific questions, and she's able to give not so coy answers. I thought you were going here. I did.
They say things.
Well, why are you back? Too risky. Huh? Who would accept this 2-word answer for your fucking spy mission?
Who are all these people? Oh, we were undercover on a spy mission.
While you're gone,
there's
the Klingons
reports
really
of a
cracked
shuttlecraft.
Down,
we can confirm there's no shuttlecraft. Well, weren't you on just a secret spy mission before? How do you also know that there's no shuttle around?
Yes, Mark.
The dumbest shit.
This was really dumb. They're like, what? How could you be here if you're there? You exist, but you don't exist. But you existed. I mean, the dumbest ever.
They didn't know what story they were writing. They got all the way to this point, and they didn't know what story they were writing. They're like, are we patterns of force? Are we something else?
This poor guy probably could carry, villain's head henchman on an episode of NCIS. Lead villain, he's a little bit low energy, and I guess he's supposed to be like some kind of version of Frenchie from Casablanca, because we're going for Casablanca here, and we're not hiding it, guys. This is a key point here. It's a mashup between Guys and Dolls, a piece of the action, the Galileo 7, and a Private Little War and Errand of Mercy. So, I mean, just like heavily skewed towards episodes that we would like, but, done really wrong. And really, they forgot to feed the feminist coded, messaging into this. Aside from the only feminist coding I got in this is the really, really good looking Vulcan chick who's working in communications with Uhura. She is always a bitch. But the ugly women around her are really nice. I think that's feminist coding,
because she's in charge, and she's also the one on charge of the planet. This probably would have been a better story with the Doctor as the lead. It would have been a better story with him as the lead.
Been able to hear Dr. Mangala.
All right, so Spock and Connie are having some weird cosplay relationship. I don't know what they're doing. Who fucking cares? I mean, what? Their conversation was about how quantitative easing would help the fiduciary state of the dollar in Swaziland. And, it couldn't have been more fucking boring. At this point, I'm like, replicator, lysergic acid. I'm stuck on this ship for a while. I might as well be in the right mood.
Don't forget, Connie is having a mental breakdown and is a complete fucking mess. She needs to be relieved of duty. But that's the only way that we can play that relationship between Spock and Connie, is her being a complete basket case and Spock trying to be a compassionate male that really isn't a strong male for her.
Until we find out everyone's gaslighting her.
Well, that and I think late in development, they found out Star Trek United could be a thing, so they're trying to kill Enterprise. So they threw some Star Trek Enterprise scripts in there, and so now if you notice, there's some T'Pol and Trip stuff going on that's done badly and like shit. And almost
no,
done.
Spock is his girlfriend. He's not
Spock
the boyfriend.
He's in this one,
the girlfriend.
Sure, but my point is just that they're both they at least got the emotional inconsistency away from Spock and into his girlfriend. Okay. We've all seen enough women act completely unreasonable. Okay. That's the least sci-fi thing about this show, that she dresses to make herself look terrible and acts crazy all the time. That's okay. That's the most, there's a grounded element that I can hold on to, naked time when they're like, we have 3 days to live over. I'd be like, set course to wherever my ex-wife lives. I have an alibi. I want all phasers locked to kill. Save some alimony money right now. So here's the escape spy. And she tells them of the EMP plan to cripple Klingon security and free the civilians, I guess, so they can get free stuff. Okay, so here we go with Space Pelosi here.
But before that, we get introduced to the main antagonist immediately before this conversation. Okay, and it's important because of what happens to her. We meet Commander Core, not the Dahar Master Commander Core, not the TOS Commander Core, some guy that looks like Rachel Ziegler Commander Core. And he is called by Mabanga a direct descendant from Colas, the Unforgettable. Folks, Colas, the Unforgettable. Not
Colas the Uncola.
Not Kalis, who has his name pronounced phonetically in the first 5 characters after his name on the Wikipedia page. Not Kalis mentioned in TOS or featured in TOS. Not mentioned over 60 times between TNG and Voyager. Pronounced Kalis every single time. Not the Academy version. Kailash. It's not Kailash. It's not Discovery Kailash. This is some sort of Payless Kalis. And so that's
Kmart.
why my tag this week is Payless Kalis. Because how can you rename this guy Colas? It's proof they have never watched Star Trek. No one on the producing team has ever watched Star Trek, and they don't care enough. They don't care enough to teach them how to pronounce shit when they get it wrong, or to do a second take, or go back into post and say, you're going to re-record this and not fuck it up. Okay. It would be like, I don't even know, I'm going to offend somebody because Kalis is the Klingon religious figure. I'm not going to make a real world analogy, but it's like you go up and you just say to Alex Kurtzman, you call him Alec Katzman.
Well,
yeah, Alec Katzman over there, folks. Alec Katzman, or
so much real world now that we're getting to the point where it's kind of like I'm waiting for like Marvel, like Spider-Man and Deadpool versus Jesus and Moses.
Why don't they just call him Jan Kark? They could just call Kirk Jan Kark. That's about how
Captain
bad they
Cuff.
fucked this up. Okay.
So this chick eats the Borgia plant. So nice callback to the Salt Monster in Better Days.
But she's like,
tingling.
I know, 34.6 megahertz.
And look at Rebecca Romaines.
And then she bites down on her Yahtzee pill in her mouth.
Yeah, we see her bite down. Her jaw moves like a foot. It is so conspicuous. Her head jerks. Her jaw drops. It is like I almost harvested. It was so video like, but I'm like, if I start harvesting video, I'll harvest video for the next 5 hours, and I only have one left. So I kept it to sluds. But yeah, she bites down, and then like Rebecca Romaine is like slowly, casually asks her like 2 questions, and like question 2 involves half an answer. And oh, by the way, I just took some poison. And then she's like, wait, hold on. And she's like, well, what you just had to do is, it's so stupid. So it's like at the moment of dispensing the key piece of information, the poison goes terminal. And it's just like, I ate that super shit lettuce. I can't.
So we find out later that 34.6 megahertz might be the frequency that the detonator uses on the EMP, but we never actually get that tied to anything. 34.6 megahertz, by the way, is low band VHF radio. So like if you have, I don't know, like a police radio or some kind of like radio they're going to use at a park somewhere, like a park ranger or maybe firefighters or something, that's what that is. So
So we trade barbs with these Klingons and the whole time. And the deal is The planet is occupied the way Casablanca was occupied by the Germans during the beginning stages of World War II. It looks like absolute ass. We're going to see something really stupid later. We'll talk about. The Mandalorian shows up in this one. I'm not really kidding. I'm only kind of kidding. We'll be able to pay that boast off. The Mandalorian shows up at the end of this one, and we're almost there. We're about halfway through my slideshow, but there aren't many events left in this episode. We're going to spend a lot of time celebrating that we've actually had some ideas. Like
this loser
point, for the next 20 minutes. Hold on, JT.
Sorry.
For about 20 more minutes after this point, we're going to establish one or two more things. Then we're going to just like fillet ourselves that we came up with these canonical changes. One of them is Klingons now can no longer hear in the normal spectrum. They can't.
Well,
hear
we're going to find that out later. Yeah, we're going to find out that they're partially deaf.
Let's just spoil that one now. Klingons, like this warrior race with these finely attuned hunter senses, like turns out that they just aren't anywhere near as good as
folks. It's they have player baby grand pianos in this gin joint from Earth because they play jazz, and to signal red alert in the bar, they play a frequency that is like perfectly within our hearing range. Like perfectly within our hearing range. And it's a digital tone coming out of a player piano signaling red alert. Why?
You know what it is? I think I got this one. There's basically like the Klingons now have nothing on the Hirosian. They're not good warriors. They don't have very good senses. What are we going to find out next? That like Klingons have like, you know, they're mostly reliant on their emotions to hunt because they have to like, get in tuned with and feel the prey.
Yeah,
you know,
a race of hunters can't hear. Right.
Yeah, they can't hear. Like, what next? Like, they hunt by smell. Well, you know, they've got like 4 testicles. They're twice as likely to get kicked in the balls. Whatever.
So they should have
and
twice
he's dressed
as much
to go out
cilia
to
in their ear, and they can hear really well. At this
point, I would say, yeah, if you're a spacefaring race and you're oppressing people who have an advantage on you, I might just build in like something like what are they called? Intercochlear implants, like maybe some sort of thing that you would put in your ear, similar to like the earbuds from our iPods that would maybe let you hear those sounds.
Yeah, it was in a vocal range. It was in a vocal range.
We'll talk about those earbuds later because I want to get some.
The sound is in somebody's vocal range, Teag. There's no reason.
How do you manage not to knock yourself out of the stream with them?
I don't know. I just got them the other day. We'll see. They'll probably last a week and then they'll fail.
With mine, whenever I get the earbuds, when I touch them, the capacitative touch causes me to be thrown out of StreamYards.
Weird.
And there's no apps that you can really throw on a desktop. They're all mobile.
When I stream about you, I touch myself.
So you don't get to see my gorgeous face. I have to wear my hat and my streaming cans beret.
The line that Core says here is that he tells somebody to annihilate the remains of that spy.
Yeah.
Because traitors don't deserve glory. And
I was thinking right here, JT,
mm-hmm.
that if he had seen Starfleet Academy, they would know that the Furies or the Furries, whatever, would eat that Klingon, asshole and all.
Exactly. But in Klingon belief, you can do whatever you want to the body. As Worf says, the body is just a shell.
It is but a shell. It serves no purpose now.
Again, they've never watched Star Trek at all. After this scene, they leave, and they're trying to leave the bar to go do secret spy, whatever, underground stuff, because we're not looking for the probe anymore. Right. We're just here to cause trouble on this planet. We've forgotten all about the probe.
And let me just tell you again, like we've had like a rap dance battle, abortive rap dance battle with the Klingons where we settled to just have like syncopated clapping and all sorts of other dumbness is wrapped into this episode. You know what? Una is going to start manipulating events so that the EMP is going to drop the force field around the planet. That's what she's working on doing, because what we find out is the civilians are more or less trapped here, and when they complete this dome, no one will be able to leave at all. So, okay, that at least makes sense. And it's just they want to crack down on this planet because it's close to their biggest enemies, and like they have some assets there and whatever. This makes, like, on the surface level, sense for the Klingons and stuff like that. It's just that it's so dumb. It's just so dumb.
And it's great because right after this scene, they try to leave the bar, right? And they have to go through a checkpoint. And the Klingons are just there checking IDs. And none of this crew has an ID. So they end up deleting some extra. And then Uhura, for some reason, rushes after him, even though the Klingons already deleted him with the disruptor for no good reason. And then they're like, hey, you, stop right there. Show us your ID. And then Uhura says, sir, Klingon, sir, that's racist.
Sir?
That's racist. Yeah. I shouldn't have to show my ID. Why are you asking me, a black woman, to show my ID? Sir, that's racist.
We see
Mr.
the
Klingon.
offensive part, but we don't see the part that would make us feel bad for her, where they like lock her up and drag her to jail.
And the Klingons
the
don't
show
have any
doesn't have
body
the courage
cams.
to show. But here's the thing, that the show didn't have the courage, or thought it was some sort of great statement that they showed this evil society that doesn't put people in handcuffs.
Yeah, but they didn't have any body cams, so her civil rights were violated, and she ends up in an enhanced interviewing room.
This was my favorite part of the episode because I hate Uhura.
Yeah, and he starts
I was
asking
hoping
her,
they would kill her.
oh, me too, 100%. Just like the other time,
We would be like the best New Trek
poorly.
Klingons, like, sir, let us go kill. We would have the Scott Evil approach, sir. We have phasers. Let us kill her right now.
What is the Federation going to say? We liquidated some of their officers on our planet against treaty. Like, I get now why the Klingons don't trust the Federation in this timeline, because they break every single treaty they sign, because the ends justify the means for these riders.
Sir, let me take that shuttlecraft and drop it from 20,000 feet. We'll convince them they all died in the crash.
Exactly.
We tried to help them.
Exactly.
We did everything we could. They must have
Exactly.
wandered off and died after they crashed their ship. We're going to repatriate the bodies when we found them. This is a terrible shame.
So
I'm just surprised Uhura didn't say, I can't breathe.
Yeah. She had a small amount of fentanyl, which they detained her for. Now,
he accuses her of being from the Enterprise. This is the first questioning scene. He says that she's from the Enterprise. This scene and the other questioning scene that she's in with him, my theory on this was filmed after it went into black and white. They screwed up badly. They screwed up so badly, and they're like, well, we can do this scene. And they added this after, or this was filmed after they did everything else, and they moved it into black and white. Because in this first part, they first accuse her of being from the Enterprise, and then they do nothing with that information. And then when they come back to her, she talks about trees and some other bullshit. But then they give her an ID.
We speak about
and they let her go.
Color of the chlorophyll on a given planet for like a half, like 4 minutes.
Yeah. And they give her an ID and let her go. And I'm like, wait a minute, 10 minutes ago, you just said you knew she was from the Enterprise.
And by the way,
you've done these interrogations. So
this is your brutal. This is what I wanted to say. This is your brutal occupation. You can party all day. You don't seem to need money for it. You can drink as much as you want. Maybe they're going to make people start carrying ID and get as strict as the United States of America, which is unacceptable to these freaking yahoos. Also, like, you can walk around deleting people who are common criminals like Rebecca Romaine, no problem. It's starting to sound like a little slice of paradise. Like, I'm down for moving to the Klingon Empire. It's getting dumber and dumber. Get me my Desert Eagle Klingon disruptor. And we're seeing, like, almost like accidentally a place we'd want to live. They're having rap battles. People are drinking all day. There's no need for money. I didn't see anybody work. I didn't see anybody do anything.
No workers.
Did you guys catch the
bartender?
Did you catch the scene where the Klingon the Klingon says, "You are not from here." Sorry. And she goes, I am Uhura, a dealer in crack and stolen bikes.
And she said she's from the bad part of town.
Yeah.
That's her cover story. Is she's from the bad part of town.
Sorry, I'm sounding like a murderer right now. I got to get some water.
Sean,
Whisper,
you
Sean.
need to go.
I
And
know
get
that
healing.
feeling. The worst is when that happens right at the start of a show, and you're like, "Damn, it's like 4 minutes in." Okay, so
The
Una
effect.
starts orchestrating things so that
Mhm.
this EMP device is going to work. This involves walking across town, and now we're hearing that things are really getting bad. Like the oppression's out of control. It's like, sirs, the other day we were at the library, and they wanted me to have my library card before I took out a book. The Klingons are really getting cocky, sirs. And they're like, the other day they spoke in a rather strongly worded manner about how we should obey the law. Klingons are really out of control, sirs. It's like they accidentally make the Klingon occupation look fairly reasonable, except that these dumbass Klingons. If it was anyone else,
that's because
maybe.
the writers don't know how to write an occupation or write Klingons or even write Cardassians. These Klingons are nicer in their occupation than the Cardassians. Keep that in mind.
Yeah, you know what? Zachary Gibbons 579, welcome to the program. You know what? I don't know. That's a good question. You know
It's a
what? I
great
hadn't
point.
thought of that. That is a great
Absolutely
point.
good point.
Yep. I put in here in my notes, these aren't TOS Klingons. These aren't TNG Klingons. These are some kind of like stupid Star Trek Academy Klingons. Because they don't act like Klingons in any type of way. They don't look like them in any way.
Doesn't anyone see that this is wrong?
The worst. Okay. So Zachary, good question. Welcome to the show.
Oh, Mark.
Try the veal. Mark. Okay.
Yeah, they actually do have the mind scanner.
They do have
Use
the
it on
mind
her.
scanner. They use
Yeah, they
it on
hit
her.
her with it like 3 or 4 times. What's funny about it is what they decided to make it out of was things you would find laying around a film studio once again. It's made out of 3-sided Sean, what is that stuff even called? The 3-sided like metal lattice working that you use to build the things that you put the cameras and lights on, like mostly the lights. Like
rigging?
They had those.
Yeah,
rigging. They had rigging. Yeah, they had rigging. Exactly. I thought you said Reagan. I was like, well, huh? What does Reagan have to do with this? Yes, rigging.
Tear down this subspace wall.
And we say rigging with a hard R.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, when they used the mind scanner on Uhura, all they said was all we got was a mass of conflicting impulses, just like Nomad did.
Except
you
they
can't read
didn't.
Uhura's mind.
Except they didn't, Sean, because Uhura is so bad at answering questions and is so dumb here that he catches her in a lie without even needing to use the stupid mind probe. So they didn't even have anyone read over the script. They didn't even need the stupid tool. And they shock her periodically. We don't really know how or what they're shocking her with, which is okay because I mean,
that explains her
do
hair.
that.
She's like, that's how I do my hair in the morning.
But I have it
tolerant.
written saying that the actress that plays Uhura can't act out pain worth a shit. Maybe she's never been in any big physical pain, like never broken a bone or been stung by a wasp or
No,
something.
we're seeing her going through a very painful experience right now in front of us. She's on Star Trek. She knows pain in a way that you and I never will.
Admiral, I can tell you she's going to feel pain when her acting career's over after what happened backstage on that one incident. And she'll be totally unhireable ever again. You know. You swing at the king, you best not miss.
Actress. That was a
Was
different actress.
Oh,
that
it was?
That was Starfleet Academy's Carice Brooks.
Oh,
Watch
okay,
that
never
video
mind.
next week
Never
about a
mind.
wild meeting at Paramount. I've been
Yeah.
talking about dropping the video, but as I think we've seen here that Strange New Worlds has no virility. I have a feeling that like knives and bludgeons are going to come out for Starfleet Academy. So when I find out it's about 3 weeks off, I'll drop my video about Carice Brooks. See what happens then.
Yep.
And we'll find out what's going on.
So we're halfway through the episode, folks, at this point. Can you believe
More.
that? Like nothing has happened yet.
We're 80% of the way through the events, but we're halfway through the episode.
Yeah.
We don't have to talk much about a lot of this stuff. Una goes to her own Navit's old office, and she looks at the door so long that she notices it has a very conspicuous scanner on it, which scans her face and lets her in. And they start poking around in there looking for her ID card, where the oppressive Klingons are going to bring it up to liberal New York's standards of you must have ID to leave the house.
But doppelgangers aren't clones. A 3D face scan of your twin is not going to unlock your iPhone. So whatever. They're too dumb for this. They're too dumb. Did we want to talk about the sing and dance? Are we ready to talk about the song and dance attempt?
I'll just throw this plot feature on the side here. For some reason, Ortegas and Scotty are now friends. If they were real friends, he would fuck her and tell her to grow her hair in. But I guess they're just like more like brother and sister. This is like, they don't do it well, but the AI's decision to tell them to give Scotty and Ortegas a brother-sister dynamic was a good one that more skilled writers could have gone somewhere with if they were like mischievous and fun together, but instead they're just like whatever.
Do you think two in shape opposite sex people who are straight and single are capable of this type of friendship?
I know that she would dig this dude because Melissa Navia's real life partner who passed away was Irish, and she lives in Ireland. She doesn't do Hollywood. Melissa Navia, like the more you read about her bio, seems like she's pretty cool. She doesn't live in Hollywood, so she never has to go to any crazy protests, whatever her beliefs are. As far as I know, she doesn't.
These characters aren't 12. Either one of them is going to want to do the other one, or they could both want to do each other. And this 12-year-old friendship, like for kids, tweens, right? It's not going to last.
They have a tween aspect to both personalities that could have been used by better writers as well. Because even in TOS, Scotty still has a mischievous kid inside of him. He's that kid who is really good at fixing things, and you know what? He's still that kid at heart. And that's why he loves playing with his favorite toy, the Enterprise. But Ortegas could have been there too. Like, they've shown to have overlapping skills, and now they get like they build shit together and like hang out a little bit, and like it's implied they have fun energy, but we don't see any of it.
Wait, why is his Delta patch so fucking high?
I don't know.
Look how it's like
their uniforms look worse and worse every week.
They poked his nip with the safety pin when they put it on, and so he's like, bloody, put it higher this time. That hurt too much last time.
Yeah, I got him in the nipple.
But it's just a sticker. They slap that on 10 minutes before they go on to film.
It's a shrinky
hero uniform.
They got a shrinky dink and then ironed it on there.
By the way, Neutrotic reported there is only old Star Trek merchandise at the Star Trek convention in Las Vegas.
Nice.
His picture with Caleb from Star Trek Academy is great because the camera went off early. So as Neutrotic's starting to smile, it just looks like he's got an evil plan.
Oh hell yeah, it does.
It's a great picture.
Like a total evil genius. It's such a great picture.
At any rate, this is going on back on the Enterprise. La'an and Spock have some kind of problem. Ortegas and Scotty are hanging out, doing whatever, but not having sex because they're just too stupid. And like Nuhura here in a scene where she looks a little different. Honestly, they threw a different wig on her, so Sean might be right there.
This was filmed later.
Or her hair is grown in even more. because Nuhura was forced to like look the way they wanted her to season 1 when they still had money and when she was still dumb enough to believe them. But
I'm surprised they
Cicely
didn't
rose
do the how
strong.
many lights do you see? Because look at behind her. How
Yeah.
many lights do you see?
This was
So
totally
they-
filmed later because she looks totally different. And he goes in and trips her up on talking about what color trees are. And then the Klingon's like, oh, interesting.
Yeah, she hasn't seen a fucking plant on this goddamn planet.
And she comes up with the stupidest excuse that no one would believe. And then they give her ID back and she gets to leave. So
An ID
because
she
this
never
was
had.
filmed later
Yeah.
and
She
nothing
never had one.
nothing from she never had one to begin with. So where
Yeah,
the
they
fuck did that
created her
come
a fresh ID. It's like the kids in Superbad should have known about these Klingons. Like I said, this Klingon oppression. Now here's an ID card. You can vote. Do whatever you want. Just don't please, if you lose the card, just come back to the station right away. We'll replace it free of charge. These are the nicest mean oppressors we've ever fucking seen. They're so nice. These are the nicest Klingons, aside from the fact that they're a little brusque with their mannerisms. I can live.
Because
If they
this
moved in
was-
across the hall, I've had worse neighbors than these Klingons. I've had a couple of neighbors from a certain geographic region.
because this was filmed after everything else, probably as a reshoot or an emergency shot, they can't have it affect the plot in any way. So the only thing they can do is just give her an ID and let her go, because it doesn't have anything to do with any of the rest of the episode whatsoever at all.
So they have the Save Act on this planet.
Pretty much. Right after this, because I know some of us might have to beam off soon, the Klingons come in to the bar because 3/4 of this episode is actually in the bar. They're reusing the bar set from every other episode.
We only go to bars. We have gone. We are 4 for 4 in bar trips, and we're gonna have to go to a bar to come down from going to all the bars again, like we did in episodes 2 and episode 3, where we had to go to a bar to get a break from going to the bar.
Everybody has a handle of vodka next to their bed on the Enterprise because that's the only way they can keep from shaking.
If I didn't think you would be like accosting me all day, like you would think that as long as you had a couple of days off afterwards, Kurtzman would be a blast to hang out with. He's just like 11 o'clock in the morning. It's like, it's time for margaritas. You know,
I
just,
don't
like
know.
feeding
I've
you
got better
drinks
friends I
all
can drink
day
with.
long.
I've got better friends than him.
I
can drink
would
with.
never. Well, listen, I'll take a pass on it. Like it's a hard pass, but I'm just saying, like he's like the life that he seems to be like pushing here is just like, you just drink all day long, and then you drink more to get over drinking. It's like we've seen Hair of the Dog in so many episodes. Like people don't like. We have never had a get high by mistake episode in this form of Star Trek because people just get high on purpose.
Drinking is a novelty, like an oddity, a curious thing from the past by the time you get to like TNG. Or you do it because that's what the Klingons do. Here, it's a staple to get by. Admiral, I don't know if you have it. Before you get to this, there's a scene in the bar where Klingons come in, like 4 of them, and they walk in formation, and they start singing a song.
They're slapping themselves in the ass, and they're singing Klingon opera.
No, it's not Klingon opera. It's the song
Like
that Worf
rap-ified.
sang.
They're singing Klingon Hamilton.
Well, they're singing the song that Worf sang in Deep Space Nine. Germ, I think it might have been season 6, where Worf has to fix the crew. It's like the Klingon Lower Decks episode. And when they start going into battle, or actually, no, it's the end of the episode.
Way of a Warrior.
Yeah, Thank you, Germ. Way of the Warrior.
It's the one he's singing with his father's old friend.
Yes.
But by the way, I just the random thought here. How old is she now? Marie Osmond still probably would. I still probably would.
So these 4 guys start walking in. They sing half the song, so like 8 measures, and then everybody else from this Metroid whatever planet just start pounding on whatever they have available all at the same time. They just start pounding the same rhythm.
They pull of the cage. They hit us with really, really annoying effing noise. And they go with electrically inspired kind of noise.
Yeah.
And so she's just like Uhura's just like they play this weird electrical sounding noise, and Cicely Rose Strong pretends to be in pain.
This entrance would be like the four of us on the panel going into a bar in like Fargo, Dakota, and we're all singing "Take Me Out to the Ball Game." Not because there's a baseball game within 1,000 miles. We're just all walking into a bar singing "Take Me Out to the Ball Game" completely straight-faced. Yeah. This is the beginning of a dance-off or a song battle. And then they recut it and edited it so fucking poorly that all it ends up being is all of the aliens just start banging the same rhythm on the desk. And then the Klingons eventually give up.
The very human-like aliens. The very human-like aliens.
Yes.
By the way, the Klingons have a VK machine that they hit up Uhura with. They're like, Uhura, you see a tortoise lying on its back, but you're not helping it. And she's like, the fuck a tortoise.
And Admiral, this is why the enhanced interrogation scenes were added, because they couldn't do this. Or even better, here's my grand theory about this.
50 minutes.
This was actually 2 different episodes. This was originally 2 different episodes, and they edited it into one because they have so much of this random shit that happens on the ship. They forget about the probe. The Uhura thing doesn't matter. There's like 6 B plots in this, and then you get to this dance off, this dance rap battle that fails. This was 2 episodes. It has to be. Sorry.
I believe that, but do you have a time code on the dance off?
34 minutes.
Oh, that's way further ahead than I am. Thank you. Okay. So yeah, the Klingon dance off. The Klingons are the most untarded people in the world. And then we can see our various plot devices coming together here in a way that maybe perhaps Alex Kurtzman and his lover could tell us about. I don't know. You would have to ask me. In my opinion, no straight man would ever write this.
No.
We could not ever get back. It's like we've gone almost a whole hour with no singing and dancing. Sean.
Well, no, Admiral, I take that back. Senatorial candidate Abdul Rahman Mohammed Al Sayed is a theater kid, and he would write something like this.
Maybe like Osama bin Laden, like if that like gone to drama school. This is like wondering like who would have written this script is almost like, so we solved the problem. What did you do? We went back in time and got Hitler into art school. There never was a World War II. He made some pretty boring buildings, but all in all, they don't fall over or nothing. So he was a competent architect, just unimaginative. It's like, so here's the dance off that didn't work, and it's supposed to be invoking Casablanca, over reliance on real world sets, and this is where the dance off just doesn't work. And
It's short. You might have already skipped past it. It's so short.
The space French, it's abortive. We start to do it, and the space Frenchies are already clapping their hands, so I am past it. It's just that the murderer and Uhura just like have this long, boring conversation about what we just saw, repeating everything that we saw, and he just says a few sagacious. That's probably a little too much of that, isn't it?
I don't know. The real thing is, this is why they did it in black and white. It's scenes like this that have nothing to do with the interrogation scenes or anything else with the probe. I bet you the color palette and all of what they were wearing was so different than what they had for the CGI and scenes like this that the only way they could fix it was to make it in monochrome.
Well, Zachary had a good comment in the chat. It says it's the same bar from the last episode, and it probably was. And they're like, let's make a black and white episode, and it'll hide the fact that we're on the same fucking set. They probably just filmed both of those episodes together, and this was leftover crap.
You're down to like roughly 5 minutes, Sean. Why don't you like unburden yourself now? I know that this episode caused you undue pain, and you had to sit through it, so you might as well have your moment.
By what has
go for it.
It wasn't even that much of a burden. Like I couldn't pay attention to this. I like when I realized what was going on, that this was, you could just listen to this thing like it was a radio show. I just put it to the side and kept working. And even then I couldn't fucking take it. It took me like 5 sections to get through this stupid episode. Nothing makes
I had
sense.
to keep overwatching stuff that I had not paid attention to, but heard. It was
Nothing
so
makes
much more
sense.
painful.
Yeah, because you're
Even
like
if
something
we heard
happens
some
and
of
you're
this
like,
shit 3 times with our method of like trying to ignore the show, and it still made no sense. You're right.
yeah, and it's like the show, like all the stuff JT brought up. You're trying to like, wait a minute, what just happened with her and the ID? Like oh, and they don't bring it up, and then the probe. Like, did I miss something? And so you go back and like, no, this is so
Last
stupid.
week we got everyone wasted and had an excuse to not have any verisimilitude.
Yeah,
but
at least
wow.
last week they had like an objective with the show. Like, let's show everyone be high and make a lot of jokes and funny things. Okay, at least that was their goal. What was the goal of this episode? What story were they trying to tell? There is none. It's not even and this happened and this happened and this happened. It's not even like that. It's this happened and somewhere else something else happened, and it's just, let's just sprinkle it. This episode, like nothing is chronological in this. This is
Sean?
like the R&D the R&D at Taco Bell, where they just get all the ingredients on a table and flip it, and however it lands is their new item.
Sean, you know what actually happened?
Welcome to the show, Zachary Gibbons, 57.
Yeah, hey Zachary.
Sean, what actually happened to this episode is the white woman showed up and made everything worse, made everybody thank her, and then she left. Because when the EMP went off, it chased away the Klingons temporarily, and they said, well, they're going to come back with like orbital bombardment weapons and just totally destroy
Well, they can
your
get them
entire
with
planet.
those cool Zeppelins. They can shoot them down with it.
So why even do what you did, lady? Because
Yeah.
you just
And-
made the whole situation 50 times worse for these people.
And-
Now the
and let me ask,
Klingons
these-
are going to come down on them.
No, these people were not humans, right? It was some alien species.
Yeah.
They're
But they-
allegedly,
they
and
happen to
once
have-
again, they're indistinguishable.
They
Yep.
happen to have every race that Earth has. They have the same 88 key pianos. They smoke cigarettes. They have Zeppelins. They have
Boy, do they ever
fedoras.
smoke.
They have everything that the 1940s Earth had. Isn't that a
Is that-
coincidence? That
Is Alex
Uhura
Kurtzman
seemed to
an
just fit
unrepentant
right in.
smoker?
Well,
Is he
They have more than 1940s Earth.
in
For some
1940s
reason,
Mhm.
These
Sorry, Sean.
people have reliant on Zeppelins, but they have plenty of spaceships laying around.
Oh, right, yeah. So it's a
steam
steampunk
trains
planet.
and zeppelins, but they can
Let's
leave
do
the
a
planet.
steampunk. Yeah, it's a steampunk species set in the 40s. I got it. I got
They'll be like the Trill, except they won't be as different from humans as the Trill, and they'll be boring, and we'll make them
Yeah.
exotic. Some of them will be straight. They'll be
it's
really
the-
weird.
It's the Taco Bell R&D method of writing. Just
We'll have
throw all
some-
the ingredients down. There's the new
We'll have-
item.
We'll have
the
some
Suckerito.
normative people.
It's a new Suckerito from Alex Kurtzman.
I think it
And
would be called
instead
the
of sour cream,
Cuckerito.
it's filled with his fucking smegma.
I think it would be called the Cuckerito,
shit.
and it would be
The Cuckerito. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, the Cuckerito. It's like it's like 2 soft tacos.
Oh. Oh.
And that's not sour cream in there.
No. Once they took the sand out of Taco Bell, it's never been the same. Sean, I mean, this episode just gets worse and worse. There's more to the plot, but before you leave, I want to read a
Is there?
statement that's for all Star Trek fans. I took a while to read this. It's been inspired by other
Well, hold
speeches
on.
from other. Go ahead.
Real
Sean.
quick, I will say this because Real Head Case says Taco Bell is the same ingredients, just different shapes. Yes, but at least Taco Bell is worth the diarrhea you get.
Most of the time. Yeah,
of the time.
depends.
At least you're
The-
like, well, it was good.
Highest variance from store to store of any franchise really is
sure.
Taco Bell.
Okay. Sorry.
But,
I
okay,
didn't
so-
interrupt you.
No, don't worry about it. Okay. Well, I cobbled this together by studying other speeches about great disasters. My fellow Trekkies and all captains and crews of the final Federation fleet, this day has brought terrible news and great sadness to our fandom. Nerdrotic has returned from Star Trek Las Vegas, and he's convinced that Star Trek is dead. A short time later, the verdict landed hard. A movie wouldn't save it. The franchise, as we knew it, is lost. On board were the hopes of a generation that still believed in bold exploration, moral clarity, and stories that reached the stars without losing their soul. These hopes did not survive the journey. I believe more than ever that without Star Trek United, all hope will be lost. There are 22 Kurtzman episodes left. That is all that remains of the current run. Yeah, that's a lot of episodes. These are the final installments these final installments are the years of the product of effort under a regime that many of us watched with growing alarm. They accepted the risks of endless soft reboots, identity lectures in place of adventure, and the slow erosion of what made the classic series endure. Their loss is felt across every convention floor, every late night rewatch of the original series, The Next Generation, Deep Space Nine, Voyager, and Enterprise. The same creator who named the stars also named the characters, captains, and crews that wants to find the excellence. We will never forget them, and the cause in which they serve will continue. Mankind is led into the future by those who dare to look backward as well as forward, and who insist the best Star Trek still lives in the episodes that already exists. Our journey into the future and the world of Star Trek will continue this and every Saturday night. We do not know for sure if Star Trek will continue or if it's lost forever, but our journey to the future and the world of Star Trek will continue, even if all hope is lost, and even if our journey takes us beyond the furthest star. May God bless you, and may God continue to bless the United Federation of Planets, something that will continue to live in our hearts forever. I was heartbroken when Nerdrotic said that he can't see it coming back. I do think that Star Trek United might have enough power to bring the TV side of the franchise back, and I believe if they can get a good TV show going, they can expand into movies. But if they think they can wave a magic wand with a ordinary action adventure movie of a decent quality and just have no Star Trek-ness to it with just a big bad and some story, it'll suck. I want a 22, 24 episode season of real episodes. This is not working. This is horrible. This is our fourth trip to a bar in 4 episodes. This is our fourth off-topic diversion in 4 episodes. This show has no identity at all whatsoever. It's one of the worst shows. Just the remaining plot beats, real quickly, and we'll talk a little bit about them. Is Una manipulates the event so what the EMP goes off, dropping the force fields and disabling the orbiting Klingon D7. I think they say 80% of the systems go down when we get
Admiral,
the sit rep back on the Enterprise. Sure,
Admiral,
go ahead, JT.
You forget the scene between Core and number 1 where they talk about the EMP and he reveals his evil, fiendish plan. And he's like, he pretty much says, fear will keep the local systems in line. Fear of this battle station.
Field.
Yeah. And I'm like, oh, so we're ripping more off of Star Wars. And
I was waiting for them to say the only exit is a tiny little sphincter at the top. Something stupid like that.
And it made me ask, why is he revealing this plan? Why is he working with her? Shouldn't he have like a puppet head of state? Shouldn't he have someone just under his thumb that he can control the whole planet from? Why is he working with like some low-level crime, whatever, lackey? I mean, she really, in the whole scheme of this planet, isn't even like a CIA leader. She's such a nothing burger. I have not seen such a nothing burger on screen since Rey fucking Skywalker. What the fuck is Core doing? Okay. Anyway, I've said my mini rant. And like the more you think about this, the
All
more
right,
it makes
I can
no fucking
progress to
sense.
the last 2 plot points and we'll be done. All right, so our climax here is the extraction and the return. The team escapes with as many civilians as possible. Color floods back as they leave the system. This is only just so true. I don't remember color flooding back. I remember Rebecca Romaine looking into like a reflective surface and slowly some color comes back. But we
When they
got out
leave
of
the
this one
system.
without ever, but we didn't really see full color return. And like we saved on that, like plug in the whole show. But here I think was one of the most egregiously stupid things. All of us hated this. All of us had a problem with this. There it is. Germ identified it. We thought it was the Razor Crest, but Germ had the exact ship. Germ, call it.
That is, from what Google tells me, that AA-9 refugee transport featured in Attack of the Clones, which
And it's
transports
pretty close
Anakin
match.
and
Shmi.
Amidala to Naboo.
Oh, really? Okay. Some more Star Wars lifting.
What kind of transport, Germ?
According to Google, it's the AA-9 refugee transport
From what? From Star Wars?
from
Attack of the Clones.
Oh God, yeah.
Yeah, if you look this up,
Holy shit. Holy shit. Well,
when
No-
they buy their
no
assets,
shit.
they got to do a better job. Okay. This is inexcusable.
well, we know where they're getting them from, but oh, wow.
Well, what they did is they typed
So
in
there,
refugee
take a look
transport
at the
into
ship for
Google.
reference. Take a look at the ship for reference, guys. Okay. Now, hey, hi, guys. Let's get over here. All right. So there you see for reference, that's their ship. Now, this is crazy. This is the ship Germ found. It is the same ship. There is absolutely no difference. What, they
1-to-1.
scan a toy?
1-to-1.
No, they just
It
went
might
on
not
Google and typed in refugee transport, and they picked one that the list came up, and they didn't even bother to check if it was from anything. They thought they were stealing someone's deviant artwork, but they accidentally stole from Disney.
Yeah, I think the Walt Disney Company might be interested in this. just you know, a little bit.
They could get $100 for every person who viewed this episode, and it would still be shit money. They wouldn't even bother.
I can't believe it, but we are finished with the episode. That's the review of the entire episode of Stupid New Lows. I didn't bother with the name of the episode. I didn't fucking care. It's episode 4.
You skipped the whole scene where with Nurse Chapel.
Oh, sorry. There was a talk back on the ship where we whispered and Nurse Chapel talked to Connie. And when we saw Connie, Nurse Chapel was doubled. And when we saw Nurse Chapel, Connie was doubled. It was so unbelievable. And they never managed to sell the cohesion. Neither actor has skill. So the decision was to play it calm, unemotional, disengaged, and really quiet and whisper and slow. It's like, well, you're in the medical area anyway. Like maybe like Mabanga's like, you know, presence has really inculcated the place. And now
they find out
everyone just whispers
there's this whole
pretentiously.
plot we didn't talk about, folks, because it didn't matter at all. But the probe thing,
There was more
they
spinning
found-
wheels and gears in here, I promise.
there was tampering with the ship at like 12 different points, and nobody cared about it the whole time. But then we
Good
find out
bunch of
that
plot dead ends.
Nurse Chapel is actually too overqualified to be in Section 31. Like, she makes Julian Bashir look like an idiot and a noob. And she has a feeling for her friends on this old ship that also broke the treaty with the Klingons and violated Klingon space. And this probe recorded them. So because she didn't want her friends to get in trouble, she committed like 90 different ethics violations, felonies, and everything else, because once again, the ends justify the means. And Nurse Chapel is like the biggest, like James Bond and Julian Bashir and like half the A-Team combined couldn't touch the level of her like craftiness and technical skill.
Yeah, what
And we're
was
just
her
supposed to
line?
sit here and believe it.
Her line was something like, why should we punish people for breaking the rules? That's
Who
what
would
the
know
line
less
was.
about
I had to
rules
rewind it and look at it. It was
than
like,
that character.
we shouldn't punish people who break the rules. If they're trying to help people, that was it. If they're trying to help people, you can break the rules.
Yes.
Well, they broke the Prime Directive to
Yeah.
pieces. But you know what? I think we've kind of had our say about this one. It was another horrible non-episode. It was one of the worst examples of episode 4 being terrible we've ever seen in streaming history. This was a total non-event with retest costumes, some gay Canadian dinner theater of guys and dolls, or as I would call it, gays and dolls. This was like, I don't know what audience they're appealing to, but like, Sean, you and I have lived in major cities. JT, Germ lives outside a pretty big city. You know what? We can tell you this. No self-respecting gay person is home on a weekend or even a weeknight watching fucking Star Trek. They're out fucking partying and dancing. Putting partying and dancing into a TV show doesn't mean that you're at a nightclub. It just means you have a TV show about a
They're
nightclub.
in the clubs that Kurtzman wishes he could go back to again.
Yeah, it's like watching
Yeah.
I Love Lucy as a sci-fi show. It's like, how many times do we have to tell Kurtzman he can't come back to the college club while he's working? It's like, for God's sake, it's like, you're a 50-year-old man. Like, get your brain out of 1991. It's like, what are we going to hear from him next? It's like, I've been conferencing with the Wachowskis. I think they're brilliant. Brilliant.
It strikes me how cheap they got off making these episodes. Just how much money they never spent. I think really the money only ever went to the producers because they didn't pay for a high-end
They
cast.
spent it on
of
payroll to the producers.
Anson Mount and Rebecca Romaine, and that's it on the cast. They didn't spend it on
Anson's a
sets.
producer and she's not.
Oh yeah. Well,
I couldn't look at that shit
tolerance
anymore.
and
I'm sorry.
acceptance and feminism only go so far. Remember that.
Everything in this episode looked terrible. When exciting stuff or stuff that was supposed to be cool, like the shuttlecraft happened, we were so far away we couldn't see it. I give this like just an absolute terrible grade as far as like, 1, I don't recommend you watch it. 2, I didn't think it was Star Trek. 3, I thought that it was one of the more painful experiences of my not so short anymore life. I'm old enough now to have gone through things like the 1997 Yankee season, where they lost to the Cleveland Guardians.
They lost to the Indians. In 1997, they lost to the Cleveland Indians.
Yes, those rotten Guardians. I hated them all. Mariana Rivera blows the only save ever. Anyway, let's get back to this. You know what? We asked you guys at the beginning of the episode about whether or not you thought that this was a stylistic choice or they were just absolutely fucking up.
Teag, we get the Muppet episode next week.
Oh, confirmed.
Oh,
Okay.
All right, so let's see. Why was this black and white? Sirs, the cheapest effect they had, 31%. That's basically your winner. Sirs, to hide the low production values, 24%. A couple more votes coming in late. Just changed recently. See them right now. A late dump of votes. Oh my! You know what? This is why I have won the last 3 polls on this channel. You know what? And I would not know this myself or be the kind of person who would say this on their show. There are those who would, but to some, the polls are quite smokable. I have been told.
Who told you that, Kurtzman?
Someone on another Star Trek show. Anyway, that's the power of math. Why was this in black and white? Sir, the cheapest effect they had, 29%. Sirs, to hide the low production value, 24%. And you're all wonderful people for participating in our stream. And and participating in our poll. We love you guys. Thank you so much for weighing in. It was pretty scientific. There you go. Thank you so much for being part of the poll. And you know what? This episode, like I said, death by narrative disinterest and misadventure. This was the skeletonized corpse. We of the Sci-Fi CSI determined this to be an archival body. The remains are far too decayed. They're going to the Museum of Natural History. We think we may have a cave Star Trek episode. This might have been like the star. This closely resembled some of the cave. You know what, Sean? They said that this closely resembled the narrative value of some of the cave paintings in the Neander Valley in France.
Wonderful.
Yes,
Wonderful.
yeah. That's why I was in black and white. Next week's episode has no sound. Puppets next week.
We can only
Guys,
be so lucky.
Next week someone's going to try to sing Rainbow Connection.
I don't have
That's
a
going to
lot.
be the highlight of the season.
You know what? I don't have a lot in the I'm not the richest guy in the world, but I might just have to say I'm not available for work next Friday. I might not be able to live without venting about the puppet episode. As Sean goes over to break things to get over the fact that there will be puppets on Star Trek. Sean has learned to keep breakables around during the show.
I predict this might be the only one that like Nerdrotic and Az and Disparu and all those guys actually watch this season is going to be that one. You'll get like one review out of these guys.
Disparu bought the full package for Starfleet Academy and was with the cast today. Something is being, or the other day, is being made by him. Kirby.
Yay!
All right. This has been Saving Star Trek. We all think the episode sucks. Anyone got a video going on this week or anything going on?
I think Saturday we'll be back here.
We'll be back here Saturday at 10 p.m. with an episode of Real Star Trek for everybody. We hope you enjoyed the show. Please hit the like and follow whether you're coming through now or later. We love you all. I guess we should end the way we began just for the fun of it. We'll play. Yeah, you know what? Watch the beginning of the show again. We had the entire episode in the Sci-Fi CSI episode.
Yeah.
I think that we all need
Enemy Within next week on Saturday, right?
Enemy Within on Saturday. I was watching it today. I'll be that is pleasant research. As is, we leave you with, first of all, in the words of the great Ozzy Osbourne, we love you all. I'm going to scrape some money together and get some color for the next episode. You know what? We recommend that you check out 32 Flavors of Nick Weiser. That's a great channel. We want to thank him for the raid the other night. And we will see you at 10 p.m. We love you all. And goodbye, sirs and madams. Hey, is that a personal massager?